Hi there, I'm Lana. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And I'm going to try this again because the last one didn't go so well. All right, today we're going to do a meditation to bring us into breath awareness, that brings us into mindfulness, that allows us to understand the thoughts that are usually unconscious. We bring them to the surface of our consciousness, and in awareness of our thoughts, our stories, and our beliefs, that's when we're able to change them. Because this essentially is what influences us, what motivates us. And as I was sitting over these past few days, because my mother's birthday was the 26th and she passed a few years ago. And so when I go through this Thanksgiving time, I'm very reflective. I am very much reflective in the sense of like really going in and questioning, what is it that influences me? What motivates me to do what I do? Am I conscious in every waking moment? I know I'm not, because I'm not perfect. I'm human. And I expect that I'm not the only one. See, the beauty of this life as a human, at least I've figured out for myself, is that we are constantly evolving, constantly growing, going through the motions of action, reaction, leaning in, resisting, persisting. Sometimes we're in that very inspired action, and sometimes we're in that influenced, reactive action. Like, what motivates us from that position of, is it coming from love or is it coming from fear? Fear is usually something that causes us to do things with the resistance of what we insist or persist. We anticipate something to happen. So fear that motivates us means we're trying to avoid something that we anticipate to happen. Whereas love is in a flow, it's a forward motion. There's nothing holding us back and there's nothing pushing against us. So it comes from within, where the fear feels like it's coming from without. The more we're willing to really just sit and breathe and be present in the moment, that really is where we find the gifts, the sweet nectar, the like, wow, the kapow, the exhilaration, the joy, the beauty of life. That's why it's called the present. That is why it is a gift. That is why, instead of trying to anticipate the future, running from the present, or getting stuck and depressed in the past, that we have to find that balance. We're not trying to run from anything. We're not trying to sulk in and hide from anything. The truth is we want to be present to what is currently available to us and not resisting what is being presented. Again, the present is where the presents are presented, and our presence is our essence. Play with the words. Really become like that child and really lean in to the curiosity. Always going in with that curiosity of a child allows you to be playful, allows you to really kind of go, oh, wow, I hadn't thought about it that way. Fortunately, I grew up with a wordsmith of a mother who would break things down, would really go to the etymology, would go to the root of the words. The way they used to teach, and I don't know how they teach now, was to break down words predestined, before, destined, destiny. There's meaning in the actual word, breaking it down. The conjugative, the compounding, words are put together to cast spells, to create your reality. That's why it's so important to pay attention to the words that you choose, because what you speak becomes your reality. What you speak is your story, and you live what you speak. And also what you think, because what you think becomes your words, becomes your actions, becomes who you are. So you define yourself through your words, and the more you're willing to be in awareness of it, being present, the presence of your essence presents the gifts of the moment. There's always an opportunity here, now, and this here, this vessel, this temple. You are the gift. You are the sweet nectar, the presence of essence, your soul, God's source energy. You were created in the image of God. Recognize God in all. Recognize the other as you. That is all God too. All of it. There is no separation. It's thinking that makes it so. And we humans have become more dependent upon another human to tell us our truth, to tell us what we should think, what we should speak, how should we behave, what things should look like or how they should feel like, instead of tapping into our own truth, our own Sat Nam. Truth is my identity. My truth is my truth. And on a subtle level, when we mix our truths together in this mixing pot of life, it becomes this melange, this soup, the flavors that we savor, that we experience one another, that once again, life is about relationship, and I cannot experience myself. So therefore, I need another human to interact with, to mirror back to me, so that I may see my truth, myself, through the eyes of another, through my eyes, through that other, and them see their truth through me, through my eyes, seeing them. This is the divine dance of life, and it's a comedy and it's a tragedy. There's ups, there's downs, there's ins, there's outs, inside, outside, it's all absolutely beautiful. And the less attached we are to the labeling of things, the more miraculous, the more flexible and fluid they become. That we truly are healers, that we are master manifestors, and that when we stop looking outside of ourselves and we just go within, we have all the answers we need right here, right here. And I can't tell you your truth and you can't tell me mine. This is the irony, that somehow along the way, something in our culture has taught us, conditioned us, to believe that the answers are outside of us, that we must, that in some way, actually, many seek to help and fix another in some unconscious way, thinking it will somehow miraculously fix them. That's looking on the wrong side. You got to go within, not out. When you go without, when you go out, you go without. That's where the play of words is. Go within, so you don't go without. Stop trying to fix or impose your beliefs upon another, thinking that's going to fix you. Because the truth of the matter is, the more you work on you, that influences them too. It gives them permission that if you stop trying to force yourself upon another, they will naturally come into their own without your influence or imposition or the claws. Don't dig into another. Let go. Practicing non-attachment, non-judgment, just being in observance, seeing with thine eyes, with your real eyes, hearing with your own ears, listening to your own heart, tapping into the truth of your into me I see intimacy, your intuition. The only way to heighten that and to work on that is you doing you, not everybody else. Trying to go outside of yourself actually takes you out of yourself and numbs you out to the truth of what's going on here. Bruce Lipton is the author of Biology of Belief, and I was reminded earlier that so many people don't recognize that we have been influenced up until the age of 6 or 7. The Jesuits have been telling us this. They knew how influential, how easy they could program us at young ages. This isn't just some voodoo magic. This is psychology. This is the truth of the human condition, that you expose a child in those formative years to someone who wants to program them, and you can teach them and mold them in the image you want them to be. And so although we are made in God's image, the irony is that man is playing God by trying to mold children into man's image. And that is the biggest travesty, because instead of nurturing the young souls, nurturing us all from those ages, and teaching us how to be present with ourselves, our truth, to really dive within, to trust ourselves and not trust without. This has been the biggest travesty and the biggest casting of spells upon us ever. So from the moment we're born, we're told what to do, what to think, how to act, how to speak, how to behave in society. Social conditioning, culture. We are steeped in the mixing pot of all of these conditions. And to top it off, we're told we're born of original sin. So we have to prove ourselves from the moment we're born. And right now, even more so, it's in your face. Prove yourself worthy. As if you didn't have enough guilt riding on the subconscious, unconscious here. That our shoulders weren't laden down with enough weight and burden to carry. That although we are perfectly perfect as we are in our imperfect ways, now we have layers upon layers of proving ourselves worthy to man, not God. See, the God source, the truth of all that is, the collective consciousness is perfect as it is. But because we have these guilt-laden mindsets, these suffering hearts, bleeding hearts, most often, we're walking around this planet wondering what's missing, reaching, striving to be something, running from what is to what we think should be based on these programs, these conditions that aren't even ours. I remember when I was a little girl, I remember the things that didn't feel right, but because I was told this is the way it's supposed to be, I still went along because you're supposed to be able to trust your elders. We're taught to trust your elders, to respect your elders, despite some of their behaviors not being so respectable. And now we become adults and it's like, wow, I have to reparent myself because I wasn't parented well over the course of my life. Nothing wrong with that. People did the best they could with what they had, and most often just went through the motions that they had been through. Unless you had the most awakened parent who was able to see through all the lies and the bullshit, I don't expect anybody out there hasn't got something they have to unlearn and reprogram and to reset themselves to find their truth. Because through all the layers, you reveal your true nature. And the best ways to do that is to get it out in nature, because nature nurtures, and our truth is to nurture. Because us and nature, we belong together. Nature is a reflection of us, and nature is what's within us. So if you want to find your truth, get out in nature, because nature nurtures, and that's your true nature, is to nurture. We're all influenced by something, and sometimes we're totally disconnected from what that is. We're going through these motions, not recognizing the program. And our mind is the biggest program. We are essentially machines with the most highly sophisticated software going on and hardware. I'm speaking from a computer science background here, so I'm engineer in my past life. It's just ironic I can use the terminology and the languaging, because the truth is, through all of my life, I've been reprogramming myself, trying to wipe the slate clean to remove all the lies. I'm aware of them now, but back in the day, oh my gosh, I could sound like a victim, because that's how I was raised, and that's the program that was put into me. No, nothing happens to you, or no, you're not responsible for what happened to you. So woe is you, it's okay. You know, you can point fingers. I don't believe in that anymore, because that's so disempowering. Sure, lots of bad things happen in our past, but guess what? We have resilience, and we are stronger than we give ourselves credit. Are we going to stay stuck in that story, that old victim mentality, only to be sucked up, spit out by the world? Because the more you're stuck in a victimhood mentality, more victimhood stories will show up for you to participate in. When you take and claim ownership of your life, no longer telling the old story, then you become empowered to rewrite your story the way you want it to be the higher person, stronger in your truth, not in the story you were conditioned to tell and believe. And the only way to really work through this is to become aware of your own mind. So this is why meditation and breath work is so powerful. When we slow down and we become much more conscious of our breath, then we start to hear the inner workings of our mind. Our mind starts, oh, wait a minute, where'd that thought come from? It's like clouds kind of coming in, drifting in, and then you might latch on to one and go, whoa, what's that all about? Maybe you get curious, or maybe you allow it to pass through. But just being in awareness of whatever comes up is showing you what goes on behind the scenes when you're not paying attention. And often when you first start meditating, it's like, whoa, I can't meditate because my mind's so busy. Hey, my mind is 24/7. I am constantly looking for things to do to keep me busy because my mind has to make sure it's ongoing. It's hard for me to unwind at the end of the night because I'm laying in bed still thinking of stuff. And sometimes I'm up and down, writing down lists. Because the most important thing you can do before you even go to bed, write a list so you're not dumping out in the bed all night long, up for who knows how many hours. So truly, if you can sit and meditate, great if you do it first thing in the morning because that sets the day and it gives you an awareness of what really is going on below the surface that's going to influence you for the rest of the day. If you wake up in a bad mood, you need to meditate. If you wake up in a good mood, you need to meditate. Why? Because either way, when you're in awareness of your mind, you can shift it. You can flip the switch and you can change your perspective around whatever it is that arises. Again, if you're in a bad mood, at least if you're meditating, you're like, okay, well, what's that really about? Am I going to let that run in the day? Or am I going to take control of this and own it? Oh, I'm in a great mood. Okay, how can I enhance this? How can I channel this? See, in both cases, you want to take that energy. That whatever your mood is, it's going to influence the rest of your day. And you want to harness that energy to be constructive, to be creative, to manifest, to channel it. Right? A channel is to control. And you only have control over what your response, whatever your actions, reactions about the situation are. So we always have some form of control if we're in awareness. If we're not in awareness, then we're being controlled. Keep that in mind. Master your domain, master your mind through mastering your breath, and you will master your life. But to master your domain means to be in awareness. That's why we have to be dedicated and devoted to a daily practice. And to meditate before you go to bed is even better because then you can kind of like concentrate, consolidate, and create a healthy sleeping environment as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a meditation for the ego, to change the ego. It's bringing it in the breath. We're focusing in a way that allows us to be in awareness of the ego so that we can change it. So you'll be breathing, holding a mudra with an eye focus, and you will be concentrating by just being in the presence of your essence. So we're going to first tune in with Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. I bow to the inner guru within me. So it's Om, and when we're chanting the Om, I want you to really, like, we're going to have our hands in prayer pose. Om, the tongue isn't touching anything. It's kind of touching the back of the roof of the mouth, but you're really vibrating the shell of your head because this basically stimulates all of the nadis. It also stimulates the Pingala, the Ida, the Pingala, the Shushmana. It also stimulates the happy hormones and the pituitary and the pineal gland so that it starts excreting all that stuff that makes you juicy and keeps you in balance. So it's going to sound like this. Let's bring the hands to heart center. We're going to do it 3 to 5 times. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Join in. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. One more time. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale, suspend the breath, pull the root lock, anus, sex organs, and navel point. Draw that energy up the spine, press the tongue, roof the mouth. Inhale a little bit more. Exhale, release the hands down, eyes staying closed, the hands on your knees or in your lap. You can be sitting in easy pose. You can be sitting in a chair. This doesn't require any particular posture other than the way we're going to hold our hands. Just making sure that you're completely comfortable in your seat. Your spine is erect, each vertebrae neatly stacked one over the other like someone's pulling a string from the top of your head. Tuck the chin in. I want you to make sure you feel this jalandhar bandha. Pull the heart up. Roll the shoulders up and let them glide down the back. This is all about opening the heart. The way to the head is through the heart. We need to connect the head and the heart. So it's all about dropping that short little distance down in here. We're going to bring the hands into slight fists. We're going to curl the fingers into the pads of the hands. Pull the thumbs back. What we're doing, we're not joining the front of the hands, but we're going to join the pads, the base of the pads of the hands, and then the thumbs, so that these areas are joined. I'm sorry, not back here, but just this part here. The hands are just going to be spread apart naturally, so it's the top segment of the thumbs touching along the side of the thumbs. The rest of the hands are going to remain centered, and your arms are just naturally relaxed, shoulders gliding down the back, heart lifted, chin pushed back and level with the floor. You hear the ears are over the shoulders, shoulders are over the hips, however you're sitting. You're going to keep the neck lock. Eyes are going to focus at the knuckles of the thumbs, and make sure those thumbs are pulled back. Don't let them drop forward. Pull them back. They're about chest level. Keeping the spine straight, chest slightly lifted, relaxed arms on your sides, raising these hands. These are right at, keeping the thumbs pulled back. The breath pattern is you're going to inhale through the nose slowly for 8 counts. What I like to do is inhale sat, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, then hold the breath for 8 counts. Use the sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, and that count is 8. Don't go too fast, don't go too slow, but making sure that you're equal parts on all. If 8 is too much, do 4, but keep it equal, participating in the inhale 8 seconds, holding the breath for 8 seconds, then releasing the breath out of the nose, 8 strokes. And it's not an inhale, exhale, it's exhaling 8 equal strokes. Then hold the breath out for 8 breaths. All right, so let's go through this together. Come into the posture. Eyes are slightly open, narrow through the eyelids. Your focus at the knuckles of the thumbs. Inhale. Hold the breath 8 seconds. Exhale 8 equal strokes. Hold it out 8 seconds. Inhale. And continue. Keep your thumbs pulled back. Eyes are focused at the thumb knuckles. Keep the heart lifted. Relax the shoulders and the arms. Holding the breath out for 8 seconds. Inhale 8. Hold for 8. Exhale 8 strokes. Hold it out for 8. And continue with this pattern. Inhale together. Suspend the breath. Bring the arms right up overhead. Stretch the arms, stretch the back. Bring the body up like you're lifting it. Now open and close the fist several times. Exhale. Inhale. Opening and closing those fists, those hands. Really move the body, the hands, and then shake it out. Sweeping the arms down, brushing your aura. Just bring your hands on your knees or in your lap with your eyes closed. Focus at the third eye point and just breathe naturally and notice what you're feeling. Become the observer. Inhale together. Exhale. So that was 5 minutes of that particular meditation, which you can build up to 31 minutes. But just doing that for a few minutes every day can really bring you into awareness of your own mind and the unconscious thoughts, stories, and beliefs that come up and that have been going on below the surface, because we need to bring to the surface what has been running and influencing us in our lives. So just some comments and some benefits of this particular meditation. So it has many different effects, but it can be used to combat hypertension and any type of tension that's going on your life, in your life, whatever is going on in your mind. It creates a deep concentration and detachment that allows you to observe your attachments. Once you've identified your attachments, which is our unconscious, you can let them go by disidentifying with them and to them, by giving the object of attention and attachment to the infinite, the cosmos, or God, whatever you want to call it. So sometimes you will hear strong inner sounds such as drums, bells, whistles, etc. Part of this can be due to pressure adjustments in the skull and the eardrums. If the sound develops in deep meditation, it's a normal adjustment of the neurons in the cortex of the brain. This phenomenon will pass quickly and eventually should not even distract you from your primary focus and the process of this particular meditation. So this is such a powerful, simple thing you can do for yourself to gain more awareness of you and the unconscious drives and influences of your life. By inhaling equally, holding the breath equally, exhaling out in 8 strokes and holding it out, you're equalizing, you're balancing your hormones, you're creating this inner harmony. At first may seem very uncomfortable if it's something you haven't done before. So just pay attention to whatever comes up. Is your mind trying to talk you out of it? Is it challenging because it's unfamiliar? And a lot of times we want to give up on things that don't come naturally. But again, just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not good for you, because within the discomfort is when you find the comfort. So just like anything, the more you practice, the more it becomes routine. And when it becomes routine, it becomes a habit. And that's why we say fake it till you make it, because the more you practice it, the more it comes naturally. So in order to get through the discomfort, you have to go through it to get to the comfort. So I hope this meditation is very helpful for anyone out there. You can always come back, rewatch it, redo it. Do it before you start your day. Do it at the end of the night. And it's a great opportunity to kind of reflect when you're doing the meditation, maybe where there was a point in the day when you lost your cool, when your ego was running away and getting crazy, maybe it got you in a bad situation. No matter what, when we're in awareness of our own ego or our own mind, that's when we have the opportunity to take back ownership, to take back control. Again, when we become aware of our breath, we start to master our breath. It brings us to the present. And in the present is the gift, because then we can observe the mind and the presence of essence that will recognize our truth. Because sometimes we're like, wait a minute, what are those thoughts? Those don't belong to me. And then you can go, wait a minute, that's been running around in my unconscious, subconscious, running the show, and I don't even believe that's true. So in order to change, we have to know what's going on below the surface. So we bring it to the surface to confront it and to reprogram it, to repattern it. You can't change what you don't know. So bringing it to awareness is how you grow. It's how you evolve. This is the natural evolution. You know, we don't need science to tell us this stuff, but if you really want to do your research, because meditation has been proven to calm people. When you calm yourself, you can claim yourself and not be claimed over and controlled by your mind. So again, being in awareness of your mind and the unconscious stuff that goes on below the surface is where you gain control. It is how you re-empower yourself. You hear what the old story patterns are, and then you go, wait a minute, that's not true. I'm changing that. You detach from what isn't working and you create new, healthy attachments. So we're never fully out of the chaos. It's how we respond to it. It's how we show up to it. Are we going to allow it to master us, or are we going to take mastery over our domain? So the mind is a very powerful tool. Don't let it rule over you. Reclaim it. Make it work for you. So I hope, again, you have an amazing, beautiful Sunday, the day of the sun, soulful Sunday, tapping into your heart, remembering who you are, reconnecting, regaining control, regaining mastery over you. Because again, when you master the mind, you can when you master the breath, you can master the mind, and you can master your life. That's mastery over your domain. So much love to you. Many blessings. Happy days are here. It's just up to you to recognize they're there for you. I love you very much. Have an amazing evening. Much love and many blessings.